Hey fam, welcome home. I am so damn excited for this video, especially for my spooky squad. I don't think we ever established who's in the spooky squad, but basically if you like scary movies, we're the spooky squad now. I've decided it as a thing. So these are my top 30 favorite, underrated, sort of lesser known horror movies. Not really lesser known, like I feel like my hardcore horror people are gonna be like, but these are 30 movies you guys have to see. It was a bitch cutting this shit down. It was supposed to be 10, then 20, then 25, and okay, so there are a lot that I left out. Okay, so ground rules. Oh yeah, there are ground rules. I take this shit seriously. Okay, so first of all, this video is totally spoiler free. Ain't no spoilers here. I want you guys to like watch these movies and enjoy them. I ain't ruining them for you. Number 2, like I said, these are underrated movies. So I didn't, none of the obvious ones. No Scream or Hereditary or The Exorcist, Nightmare, Halloween, none of those. I did veer like more modern and mainstream with this because I wanted to make it kind of like accessible. I could do a whole other video of my like weird ass obscure like 70s, 80s, Giallo movies, all that. Oh my god, I should do that. I feel like I should probably stop making videos that nobody but me wants to watch. But hopefully some people will actually watch this. I don't know, let me know. Ground rule number 3. No sequels or franchises. Okay, I did kind of break that rule once or twice. Sort of, don't worry about it. Anyway, like no big franchises, so I didn't include the underrated horror sequels like Child's Play 2 or New Nightmare, Halloween 6. I love Halloween 6, by the way. That's one with like the incesty cult with Michael Myers and he gets his niece pregnant and murders her and there's a cult and there's the Men in Black and they have like fucking crystals that stop. It is so insane. Such a train wreck. So good. But that's not on the list. Anyway, I digress. Moving onward. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, let's get to the list. Number 1, Better Watch Out. This is one of the most fun movies you will ever watch. It takes place at Christmas time, but it's not really a Christmas movie. Like, you can watch that shit any time of year. It's basically like R-rated Home Alone. Like, girl is babysitting this teenage boy and his friend. Intruders come, ... I ain't saying more than that. Shit happens. This is the kind of movie you want to get a big-ass group, get your friends, get your family, get your date. Hopefully you have one. I don't have any. It's tragic. That's why I'm making, like, nerdy videos like this. But yeah, get a group for this shit. You're gonna have a good-ass time. This is a fun movie. Number 2, Villains. Now, this isn't really like straight up horror. This is sort of like a meld of like a bunch of different genres. Again, this is a good ass time. This movie is just so much fun. Do not watch the trailer. It gives way too much shit away. Don't watch it. I'll tell you everything you need to know. This was one of the most fun movie theater experiences I've ever had in my life. I went to go see it with my friend Frank, and we were like laughing and gasping and screaming and crying, and everyone else in the theater was like stone-faced. This is Frank watching Villains. We were like having such reactions, I had to take a picture. The acting in this movie is just stellar. Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe play this sort of like Bonnie and Clyde type couple, and I think they're like my favorite movie couple ever. Ever. I mean, you would like give your life for them to get a happy ending at the end of this. So they play these sort of like bumbling criminals, Bonnie and Clyde types, and they sneak into someone's house and ... Do not watch the trailer. Oh, this movie is a roller coaster ride. It's so good. I mean, there's something in it for everyone. Everything is just done so perfectly. There's something about it that's, I don't know, just like really charming. From the performances, the sets, the costumes, the cinematography. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's just me, but like, do you guys ever have like a movie fetish? You know what I mean? Like some kind of like weird random thing in a movie that like no matter what movie it's in, you'll love it if it includes this. Is that just me? Anyway, my movie fetish is, you know, those movies, those kind of like Rear Window type movies where they'll have that scene where like the main character, and usually it'll be like a guy and some girl, so they like suspect someone of some shit, like their neighbor or something, or a date, someone, and they'll like sneak into that person's house when they're not home and snoop, and then that person comes home and they have to hide. That is my movie fetish. If a movie includes that shit, I'm all about it. So you know that scene that they have sometimes in movies? This entire movie is basically that scene. It's so, I don't mean that literally because it's so much more than that, but oh, it's so good. So now let's move to one that's not fun. No, I'm kidding. It is fun. This next one is just sort of fun in like a different way. It's not really like a group activity. It's more of like a slow, suspenseful, watch it yourself kind of thing. And that is The House of the Devil. This one, it was made in the 2000s, but it's kind of like a 70s, 80s VHS kind of throwback. Girl is babysitting at a creepy big house. ... Not really in the way that sounds though. It's got satanic shit. I love Satan-y shit. Oh, I love like witchy, spooky, Satan-y shit. Love it. I could just watch the Clintons then. So, like I said, this movie is more like suspenseful and slow. It's a little bit like an art film. It's not one of those movies though where nothing happens. I can't stand those movies where nothing happens, where it's like they're too good to be entertaining, you know? The ones that get like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, like the worst A24 ones. No, it's not that shit. This movie is just like very slow, very suspenseful, sort of like pickling your balls the whole movie. But when shit hits the fan at the end, ooh, that shit's good. I just love everything about this movie. And it's directed by Ty West, who recently did the movie X, which was really good. And he has 2 movies on this list. ... Okay, number 4, you're next. This is like one of the best horror movies of this century so far. It's so good. This has my favorite final girl ever, after Sidney Prescott, of course. But it's kind of got a little bit of like a Clue vibe, sort of like Clue meets Home Alone meets Alien. No Alien shit, but like Ripley vibes, definitely. This video feels so nerdy. Is anybody actually watching this? So there's like an insufferable rich people family, and they have the big house and people over for dinner and intruders, ... But a lot of really unexpected shit happens. Erin. And the actress who plays Erin is like super based in real life and was speaking out against the lockups, and she's Australian, so whew, but oh my god, we love her. Anyway, this movie is really fun, really unique. This is another one that's just great to watch in a big group. Number 5, oh my god, this is so damn underrated. This needs a sequel, it needs an entire franchise, and that is The Final Girls. Oh, I could watch this movie 1,000 times. By the way, I should mention, this is the movie The Final Girls with Malin Ackerman and Taissa Farmiga. There's another movie with that little girl from Little Miss Sunshine who got kind of chubby, by the way. I was going to say, like, the Porky Girl. That's rude. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, there's a movie with her called Final Girl or something, and I ended up watching the wrong one, and that movie sucks. So imagine if Pleasantville, instead of being about 50s sitcoms, was about cheesy 80s slasher movies. That's what this is. So good. This has an amazing cast. It's funny, it's clever, it's witty, and it goes in very unexpected ways. It's surprisingly emotional, by the way. I like when a horror movie makes you actually care about the characters. This movie actually has like a lot of heart underneath it. So Taissa Farmiga plays a girl who's very close with her mother, and the mother was like a failed actress who was in some 80s slasher movies. So the mother dies. I'm not ruining anything, by the way. That happens in the first like few minutes. So her and her friends go to a screening of one of the mother's old 80s horror movies. Theater burns down. They get stuck inside the movie. So to escape, she needs to become the final girl. But along the way, she wants to like save her mother and rewrite history, and oh, it's so good. I could watch this movie 1,000,000 times. I'm not usually the biggest fan of like horror comedies because usually they're not very good at horror or comedy, but this one is just a great movie. It makes fun of all the horror tropes and conventions, but like I said, it's got a lot of heart and is really emotional in the mother-daughter relationship. This is a perfect movie. This is like a damn modern classic. What number are we on? 6? 6. Summer of '84. Oh, so underrated. This is another sort of like throwbacky kind of movie. It's not a straight up horror. It's more like thriller, drama-ish. It's got those like Amblin, Spielberg-y 80s vibes to it back when he was kind of good-ish. This is kind of like my other movie fetish where you have like the 80s or 90s and it's a group of kids who have to like solve a mystery and they're on their bicycles. Oh my god, those are like my 2 favorite movie things. Those and like Badass Final Girls. Those are my 3 movie fetishes. So it's the 80s, you have a group of kids who think that their neighbor is a serial killer, so they have to go on a mission to investigate. Oh, it's so good. I love those kinds of movies. It's got my 2 favorite things, the 80s and murder. Perfect. All right, next up, Dolls. From 1987, this is like the quintessential blockbuster movie. This is the kind of movie that you would stumble upon while walking through the aisles at Blockbuster, rent it, watch it at like midnight, and love it. That's what happened to me, I think, when I was a kid. My family and I randomly rented it from Blockbuster because I liked the cover. I love killer doll movies, by the way. I guess that's my other movie fetish. I love killer dolls, but this is actually not what you think it is. It's not like some cheap, straight-to-video type thing. It's kind of got like deeper levels. It's a bit of like a morality play. It feels like an old-fashioned sort of fable. Everything is like a little bit surreal. It's got like a very old-fashioned premise too. Like the family, their car breaks down. They have to go to some big house to stay the night. It's raining, and the house belongs to this like old man who's a toy maker and makes all these creepy dolls. And there are other people who had to like go there, spend the night to get away from the storm. This movie just has everything. Killer dolls, castles, questionable toy makers, 80s punk rock chicks. What more could you want? All right, number 8, The Faculty. Why is this movie not a franchise? This is a damn classic. I saw this in the movie theater with my dad in 1998. We like randomly went to go see it and had the best time. I probably watched this with my family like a million times. It's kind of like Scream meets Alien meets Varsity Blues. Oh, it's so good. And it's the same writer of Scream, Kevin Williamson. I don't know what I can possibly say about this except go run and watch it. Oh my god, also, Josh Hartnett turned me gay. He is who I have to blame for everything. Him and like his floppy hair that went up like that and his neck like, Josh Hartnett turned me gay. I'm not even going to tell you much about this because I don't want to ruin it. I rewatched it recently and I didn't realize how long it takes for them to sort of start revealing what's going on. So for you guys who haven't seen it, I'm not going to reveal too much. There's a high school. It's the 90s. Strange things are happening. It's got an epic cast. Fucking Piper Laurie, Carrie's mom, is in it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't want to reveal too much, so watch it. Number 9 is Goodnight Mommy. This was one of the few movies that I've seen as an adult that legitimately freaked me out. It's just very unsettling and creepy. There's sort of a mystery at the center of it, and I wasn't even really thinking about trying to figure out what's going on when I first saw it. I was just like so glued to what was happening. Don't look up spoilers, going blind. The trailer is good. This is a good trailer, you can watch this one. Basically, there are these little kids and their mother just had some sort of surgery, we don't know, plastic surgery maybe, and her face is all bandaged and they live in the middle of nowhere, but she's not the same since she came back from surgery. So is it their mother? Is it not? What's happening? I don't know. It's in German with subtitles. Do not let that scare you. Promise me you won't let that scare you away because it is so good. This movie, the cinematography, everything is so great about it. And it really kind of hits upon like this isn't a movie of like Maybe there's some I don't remember, but like, this isn't really a movie of jump scares or stuff like that. This kind of gets to our fears that are more primal, like fear of abandonment or that the people we're close to aren't really who they say they are. This is a damn masterpiece. I know they're probably going to end up doing some shitty, stupid English remake, but watch this one. All right, next up we have The Strangers Pray at Night. I know I said no sequels, I know. However, this isn't really a sequel. It's totally standalone. You don't have to have seen the first one. This is just like a badass slasher movie, and I think this might be like one of the best slasher movies of this century so far. Oh, and the soundtrack is so good. This has like throwback vibes to it also. I did a rewatch recently, and like it just gets better every time you watch it. So it's technically a sequel, but you don't have to have seen the first one. They're totally separate. It doesn't even feel like the same people, really. I liked the first Strangers movie. I didn't love it. What bothers me about the first Strangers, Liv Tyler is just the dumbest final girl ever. It drives me crazy. Sydney Prescott would have been having none of that shit. She's just like standing around doing nothing. Like, I scream. Oh, I'm not sure what I could even tell you about this. It's like family goes to a trailer park, mass killer, slasher. But it's just done so well here. It's really creepy. This is another one that would be a good date movie. Except I actually did see this in the theater on a date. It was not good. And then he missed his bus back to New Jersey. He was from New Jersey. Missed his bus back to New Jersey and like blamed me for it. And then he wanted to stay at my house. So I turned my phone off and was like, oh, my phone died. Oops. Anyway, watch this movie. Trust me. All right, next up we have The Sacrament. Whew. There is one word to describe this movie. Harrowing. It is a harrowing experience watching this. It's directed by Ty West, who also did The House of the Devil and X, and he actually has a cameo in You're Next as an actor. It's basically about Jim Jones and the Jonestown cult. It's fictional, but I think it's exactly the same. They probably just didn't want to get sued. It's filmed like it's a documentary. It's not really, I mean, I guess it's kind of found footage. I like found footage. I don't care. I know that's like, but whatever. This really goes against a lot of horror tropes. Nothing really happens in the shadows. Everything is kind of in the open, in the daylight. What I find interesting, by the way, I just rewatched this, and what I realized, the cult in it is like a liberal progressive cult. They talk about how they're anti-racist and anti-capitalist. The white cult leader, who they call Father, super creepy, he talks about how they left society because, there was racism. I believe the real Jim Jones did that also. But it's kind of interesting because at the ground level, all cults kind of reel you in with a message that at face value seems good. Fighting racism, if it's Jonestown, or if it's the Democratic Party. Fighting racism. With Scientology, it's like they're against drugs and all this self-help shit. So I feel like all cults are kind of good at the ground level. And it totally shows what's happening now with the left, how people like play on your heartstrings with these things that seem good and are able to enact atrocities with it. So yeah, I think this is like one of the best movies I've ever seen about cults. It puts you right in their shoes, up close. You can feel the sun, you can taste the Kool-Aid. This is a good movie. All right, next, I've got a double feature for you guys. We are talking the original Suspiria 1977 and Suspiria 2018, the reimagining. It's really not a remake. These are totally different movies. They complement each other very well. They're like yin and yang. One is colorful, one is dark. One is loud and fast, the other is like muted and slow and tense. They're basically like two totally different sides of the same coin. And they're both amazing. So the basic story is an American girl goes to Berlin to attend a dance school. And the dance school is run by like a coven of witches. I love witchy stuff. The original was a pioneer of Dario Argento's Giallo style, which, oh, I want to make an entire list of the best Giallo movies. Oh my god, they're amazing. But that was basically a style of Italian horror in the 70s and 80s where there were a lot of bright colors, a lot of reds, and they all had a sort of specific way about them. The original stars Jessica Harper from Shock Treatment, so freaking underrated. And the remake, even though it's not really a remake, has Tilda Swinton playing like 1,700 different roles. Oh my god, she's amazing. It is so damn good. You need to watch both of them. Oh my god, there's a scene in the 2018 one. I don't think this is giving anything away really, but like there's a scene where on the one floor, one of the dancer girls is like doing a fucking ballet dance, and then you see downstairs in the basement, every move she makes is like the other girl downstairs is like human voodoo doll feeling every single one, so her bones are breaking. Oh my god, it's so insane. Alright, we're gonna go with an obscure, stupid-ass movie for the next one. Pinocchios Revenge. Talk about random movies that you would find at Blockbuster. This is like perfect, trashy hate watching. I'm not saying this is a good movie, but you're gonna have a good-ass time watching this shit. Alright, let me see if I remember correctly. Something like the mother is a lawyer, and she had a client who I think is put to death because he was like a serial killer, and oh no, he killed a kid. I don't know, I think it was his son. He killed a son, maybe, who had a doll that he buried with him, I think, and the lawyer brings the doll home, and she is a daughter, ... Maybe or maybe not what you think. I don't know, I'm not saying shit, but this is like total guilty pleasure movie. Also, this poster and the commercial that would come on TV when I was a kid used to scare the crap out of me. Okay, next up, I know I said no sequels, but this is like my one true exception. Psycho 2. I know what you're thinking, that's exactly what I was thinking before I saw it. Like, how are you gonna make a sequel to Psycho? You know, you're probably thinking it's some shit like that horrible fucking shot-by-shot remake from the 90s. Hell no. I don't think most people know that this movie exists. There is a Psycho 3 and 4, but those are terrible. Ignore that. Ignore the remakes. Except Bates Motel. Bates Motel was awesome. Anyway, though, Psycho 2, it's totally different. It's its own movie. It's not really a horror. It's more like a psychological thriller. And probably one of the best ones. It's directed by Tom Holland, who did Fright Night, who did Child's Play, the original. This brings back the original cast, and it takes place, I think, like 20, 30 years after the original Psycho, where Norman Bates has been released from the psychiatric home or wherever the hell they had him. And Vera Miles is fighting to, like, send him back there. So there's a great mystery that's at the center of it. This is like full of friggin' plot twists. Even after I saw it once or twice, I forgot, and I still didn't know what the hell was gonna happen when I was watching it again. It is so good. It is so damn underrated. And it's really great to see these sort of golden age actors back in a movie that was sort of more modern. I think it was from the 80s. But Anthony Perkins, Vera Miles, they are amazing in this. Is just the epitome of underrated. Alright, next up, TrickorTreat. I gotta be honest, I don't usually love anthology movies all the time, because usually they're hit or miss. Like, some segments are good, some segments are bad. This is a really good one, though. And it doesn't feel like an anthology movie, because there's sort of a wraparound. They're all sort of connected, basically. It's got its own plot. This movie just, like, is a giant hug of Halloween. It makes you feel Halloween. You can feel the leaves and the breeze in the air. It is so damn good. It has such great atmosphere and cinematography. This deserved a much wider release. Alright, next up we have, this might be like a controversial choice, but I stand by it. The remake of House of Wax. I said what I said. I don't care what anybody says, I love this movie. The 2000s, by the way, were like the absolute worst decade ever. Ever for horror. But I love this one. This is really good. You got Paris Hilton. You got dumb, slutty teenagers on their way to a concert. The car breaks down. They're stuck in the middle of nowhere town. So they have to go to like this big, deserted wax museum. ... And that goes about as well as you think it would. Spooky. Again, this is another one that you will have a good-ass time watching this in a group with friends, family, whoever's ass you're grabbing. You will have a good-ass time. This isn't winning any Oscars anytime soon, but it's a good-ass time. Super underrated. Okay, I've lost count of where we're at, but next up is Dead Silence. Like I said, 2000's worst decade ever for horror, but this movie actually really freaked me out when I saw it when I was a kid. You guys know I love me some killer dolls. This isn't just killer dolls, it's like killer ventriloquist dummies. Those things, they suck. Okay, so what happened was, back in the olden days, there was this old lady, and her name was Mary Shaw, and she was a, how do you call them? What's it called? The people who have the ventriloquist dummies. What are they called? Why am I stupid? The puppeteer. The puppets. She had the puppets. So there were missing kids. They, like, the townsfolk and shit blamed her for the missing kids. So they, like, fucking lynched her, burned her at the stake or some shit. They offed this bitch. But the bitch didn't stay dead. So she came back through the puppets. Oh my god, it's so good. And they have like a little kitty nursery rhyme. It's so creepy. Oh my god. Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her, do not scream. She'll rip your tongue out at the seam. And she does! This bitch does! That's why it's called Dead Silence, because they can't scream. They have to stay quiet, or she'll rip their tongue out through the puppets. Oh my god, it is so good. It's so good. Also, if you can get past the hideous 2000s era cinematography and like the horrible acting, nobody should ever let Donnie Wahlberg anywhere near a camera. It's a really good movie. This is one they should do a remake of without that horrible 2000s cinematography. Why does every horror movie from the 2000s look like this? This is terrible. And this is what Scream 4 looks like, by the way. This is Scream 5, all shot in fucking close-up. Don't do that for Scream 6. God. Alright, next on our list, we have got The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This movie is all about, like, tension and suspense. All the suspense will kill you. So it's like father and son morticians. Brian Cox, I love Brian Cox. And oh my god, Emil Hirsch, he's so hot. So they're father and son morticians, and this body comes in, right? And she's dead, but they don't know what happened to her. Not that they don't know what happened, but it's like nothing happened to her. Like there's no cause of death. So they gotta figure out how she's dead. And this fucking corpse laying there for the whole movie will scare the shit out of you. Just by doing nothing. Just by laying there, being quiet. It's too quiet. It's too quiet. You know some shit's gonna go down. I need to rewatch this one because I don't remember what happens in it. It is fucking creepy though. Moving right along. We have got Urban Legend. So this came out in 1998, post-Scream. This was sort of in the huge wave of like post-Scream knockoffs. Even though they're really not very similar at all. This movie isn't really funny. It's more serious. They're not really similar. This is the best of the bunch, I would say, of like the Scream knockoffs. Other than The Faculty, of course, but that's no knockoff. This is a perfect movie to watch on a date, and god, talk about underrated final girls. Loretta motherfucking Devine. Oh, I love that woman. That woman is fucking delightful. This movie's so good. It's got a bunch of like horror icons in it. Robert Englund, Brad Dourif. So basically, you know, all the urban legend tales that people tell. Somebody is killing people according to them. And it's also a whodunit. Now, no spoilers, but I'm just gonna say, the person who plays the killer, this is like a greatest of all time performance. This person deserves a belated Oscar. Oh my god. I remember watching this when I was a kid on VHS with my dad, and we were just like, whoa, at the killer's performance when this person is unmasked. Crazy eyes. They are unhinged, like Carlin level unhinged. Alright, next we're going to go with an obscure one. Pin. Not Pinhead, Pin. This is a weird ass movie. This is another one that's a bit more like a psychological thriller. How do I explain this? Alright, so there's this kid, right? And his father is a doctor. And his doctor father has like an anatomy doll. Is that what they're called? The anatomy dolls? Like what they teach little kids biology, or I guess not little kids. Do they teach little kids that? Well, probably nowadays, please, they probably bring in fucking blow-up dolls to teach kids. That's another subject. But, yeah, like, or I guess they teach it in medical school, the anatomy dolls, right? Anyway, so his son, the kid, has a special relationship with his father's anatomy doll named Pin. This is Pin. And one day, he walks up into his dad's office and hides in the closet and sees the nurse having all sorts of, like, sexual intercourse with the doll, Pin. And he is, like, fucked up for the rest of his life because of it. And him and Pin, this is like the story of him and Pin, who then have a very special relationship. This is a weird-ass movie, but it's really good. By the way, I once dated this guy who was super fucking boring, no personality, literally just because he looked like the hot actor from this movie. Just saying. Alright, next up we're gonna go with like a modern slasher-y kind of movie, Haunt. This is a pretty good scary movie. This is another one that I need to rewatch because I don't remember every little thing from it. I remember there was this movie coming out called Hellfest. Oh, so it should say this like takes place in a haunted house. I mean, what do you really need to know? You know, stupid kids go to a stupid fucking haunted house, stupid games, meet stupid prizes, boom. Oh yeah, though, so there was this movie coming out called Hellfest that had basically the same premise, and I was so excited to see it, and then it fucking sucked. But then I saw this movie after, and it's like a much better version of it. This is another fun, like, this movie is another fun, like, family activity, or, is that just my family, by the way? Maybe my family is just, like, fucking weird. Do other families watch, like, fucking heads coming off and stuff, or just my sick-ass family? Alright, next up, we've got The Last Exorcism. Alright, let me just say, I'm not a fan, usually, of, like, exorcist-y, rip-off-y kind of movies, which this isn't. There have been so many of those, like, the exorcism of this, the exorcism of that, the exorcism of your ass. So this is another one that's, like, a faux documentary. And it's about a con artist who's masquerading as a preacher, and he does these phony exorcisms on people. Until he gets called to help this girl. You know where this is going. By the way, I should say, this is also one of the very few movies I've seen as an adult that legit freaked me out. I think what makes this movie so interesting is all of the different conflicting things that are happening. So he gets paid to go to this farm and stay with the family and help the daughter who's possessed, maybe, maybe not, we don't know. So you've got all these conflicting things happening. You have him trying to keep up his scam without the family finding out, his fake religion, real religion creeping in, fake exorcisms, real exorcism. Oh, it's so good. There's a lot of like big, epic plot twists, and sort of the morality of everything is very gray. This is a good movie. It is so damn underrated. Next up, we have got Don't Breathe. If you're doing a list of the best horror movies of like the last 10 years, this belongs on it. Stephen Lang gives a GOAT performance. Oh, Dylan Minnette is so hot. So basically, these kids need money, right? These like degenerate teenagers need money. Don't want to get a job. So they decide, oh hey, we're going to become burglars. So they decide to burgle this house. And maybe they chose the wrong person to burgle. Because he's a blind man. Which, by the way, that's why they can't breathe. Just saying. This movie, it's just like twist upon twist upon twist. It is so damn good. They came out with a sequel, by the way, recently. The sequel was meh. It would have been fine if it wasn't a sequel. If it was its own movie, that's what it felt like. It felt like they just decided at the last minute to make it a sequel to this. If it was its own movie, it would have been okay, but it was kind of like aggressively mediocre. This is a damn modern classic. I should say also, by the way, I don't know if it's really underrated. Is it? You guys tell me. And this next one is another one that I'm not sure if it's underrated. I considered not putting it on, but I had to include it on this list because they're both so good. Next up, we have got Hush. Oh, this has one of the all-time greatest final girls. After Sidney Prescott, in the range of like Erin, you will have her. This would make an awesome double feature with Don't Breathe, by the way, because they both kind of involve the senses. Don't Breathe with sight, Hush with sound. Oh, I didn't tell you why. Because our hero in it, she is a deaf. She is a deaf lady. I like deaf people, by the way. I feel like they get shit done. Like they're scrappy. I respect that. So she's a deaf, and a masked killer, burglar, whatever you want to call him, enters the picture. ... Now, I know there are a lot of similar movies with that premise. This one's different because she is a deaf, but she's so tough and strong and badass. This chick puts on a freaking masterclass in final girling. There's this scene where she's having discussions with like different versions of her inner self in her head, like strategizing, this will happen if you do this, this will happen if you do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. Oh, it's so good, so good. Epic final girl, epic movie. Watch it. By the way, side note, can we talk about the fact there's also another movie called Hush from like 1998, I think, something like that. This ridiculous movie where Jessica Lange plays the evil mother-in-law of Gwyneth Paltrow. That is an epic, epic, epic train wreck. We should watch that for movie night. Whew, what a train wreck. Moving on, we have got The Mothman Prophecies. This is a scary ass movie. This shit freaked me out as a kid. There's something about this movie that like, oh, I'm getting creeped out just thinking about it. Like, you're watching it and it just feels like someone's watching. It feels like the movie is watching you back. You don't watch this movie, it watches you. Something about the way it's shot is just really creepy. I'm gonna sound insane and really stupid if I tell you what it's about, but it's basically Richard Gere goes to investigate this town where there has been a giant ghost moth, and it's based on a true story. Okay, just trust me, it is way better than it sounds. It is a creepy-ass movie. I promise you, it is way better than I'm making it sound. I think this might be one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. It's like, ugh. Next up, we have got one that I really didn't know if I should include it or not. I don't know if it's underrated. You guys tell me if it's underrated, but we're gonna go with Ready or Not. This is just so my kind of movie, where there's like a game and there's like a strong, badass, hot chick, and oh, it's so good. You've got epic sets and scenery. You've got a badass final girl. Samara Weaving, who I love, plays Grace, who she marries this guy, and he has like a crazy rich family. They got their big compound. They have a compound. And they have to play a game on the wedding night, the whole family, because of a curse that may or may not exist. I ain't saying nothing. Also, Andie MacDowell is in it. Can we talk about Andie MacDowell? Like, she is freaking gorgeous now, because it's just so nice to see a woman her age who's an actress that isn't all, like, injected with her eyebrows on the back of her head. Like, she looks her age, and she looks beautiful. Anyway, this is an awesome movie. This is another one you guys are going to have a good-ass time watching. Radio Silence, who directed this, went on to direct Scream 5, and they're doing Scream 6. Which I love, of course, but I just wish they would have brought this level of cinematography and scenery and sets and costumes to Scream. Because, like, what happened? Why did they have to film the entire goddamn movie in close-up? On sets, we have scenery, we have God's entire green earth to make movies in. Why do you have to shove them into these little box sets with green screen? It's horrible. I love the movie, but it's horrible. Do better, as they say. Do better for Scream 6, please, I beg you. Anyway, ready or not, awesome. Okay, next up, we are going to go with a ghost story. The Others. I feel like this movie has been kind of forgotten, and I don't know why, because it is so good. I think this is like one of the best like haunted house ghost story movies kind of ever made. Nicole Kidman is spectacular in it. Anyway, nondescript part of the UK. Back in the olden days, big empty house. Nicole Kidman, she has little kids. The kids are allergic to the sun. New caretakers come to the house. ... Shit happens. I don't want to ruin anything. Don't look up spoilers. Don't you do it. Go in blind. You do not want this one ruined for you. Trust me. If you've somehow avoided spoilers on this movie for the last like 20 years, get to watching it. Oh my god, we only have 2 left. Let me know if anyone is still watching this, by the way. Alright, this is a good one. Number 29, second to last, we have got The Green Inferno. Oh, I love this movie, and I will tell you guys why you are going to love this movie. Social justice warrior activists go to South America to save the rainforest and protest, and they get captured by a tribe of savages. Leftism, reality. Suffice to say, it does not go well for them. This is a bloody, gory, epic movie. It is so satisfying to watch these people get tortured. Alright, we've come to our last one. I would be shocked if anyone is still watching this. Last, but definitely not least, one of my favorites. I picked one that I feel like I've never met anyone who's actually heard of this movie. It is so good. It is called The Mortuary Collection. This is a special ass movie. Like I said, I don't always like anthology movies. This has to be, if not the best, one of the best ever made, because every segment is really good. This is a badass movie. Clancy Brown is amazing. That's another, like, GOAT performance. He's a mortician, spooky old house, and he tells stories to this girl, but there's more going on with those two that I ain't gonna tell you. This movie just has, like, a kind of old school, practical effectsy kind of vibe to it. A lot of unexpected things happen in each segment. Each one really grabs your attention. Also, for a movie that was very low budget, it looks spectacular. I don't understand how these movies with like $100, $200 million budgets look like shit. And this guy made this movie look so great on nothing. It just looks spectacular. The sets, the cinematography. I can't stand those movies that are like $100 million green screen CGI fuckfests. Ugh. There is one segment in here that answers the question, can men get pregnant? ... I ain't saying nothing. There's another segment that takes like the babysitter cliche and flips that shit on its head. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. This movie is the definition of underrated horror. It is so good. So that's my list. There are a lot that I had to cut off of it. I didn't know if Fright Night was I felt like that's not underrated, probably. I wanted to put The Changeling on. I have so many for no. Well, why am I telling you? Like, probably nobody's watching this. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my nerdiness. Probably not, but that's okay. Thank you guys so much for being on my locals. If you're new around here, thank you for being here. Welcome to the crazy train. I love you guys so much. Everyone who's part of this weird little misfit fam of ours. If you're new here or you've been lurking around, come hang out on our Zoom hangouts. We're going to be doing more of them. We're going to be doing movie club. We're going to be doing like lots of cool stuff. I'm finally like stepping my shit up. Also, I am majorly stepping up my YouTube game. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have. Anyway, let me know if you guys end up watching any of these movies. I want to know what you think. Tell me everything. And yes, we shall talk soon. Love you, Spooky Squad.